What is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight, we are going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff, so stick around. First off, I just want to let you know this is a live call-in show. The number to call in is going to be right here at 224400-MARF. That's, again, 224400-6273. Tonight is an unidentified Friday, so if you have seen something in the sky, had an experience 10 years ago, 10 minutes ago, whether it be now or past, make sure to call in. But on top of that, I want to talk about some of the stuff that I have that I believe. I'm going to clarify that it is something I believe, but is not confirmed yet. Again, this is something that I believe is coming very soon. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. We're going to go over a few news stories regarding space. Again, tonight is unidentified, so we need callers that have had experiences. Make sure to call in. But on top of that, there's some really crazy stuff coming out. Obviously, we are in the midst of making something right now that we can have a separate kind of show. A separate kind of show that's really not possible right now, not without risk at least. So we're going to talk about that here in just a minute, but we're going to go over that here very soon. Before we get started, of course, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. That out of the way, please make sure to sign up for marfooglenews.com. If we ever get removed or anything like that, you will be able to find us at marfooglenews.com. You also sign up for alerts, and you can even get push notifications directly right to your phone, right there on marfooglenews.com. And then, of course, make sure to go there for tonight's show. When we do a show, we don't just say something without backing it up, or if we do, we make sure to clarify. So we usually give you a source to every single article that we show you here. If it's our article or if it is somebody else's, we let you know that. We also let you know exactly where it comes from. If you go to tonight's show, which is easy to find, you just look for this this thumbnail here, disclosure, and then, of course, is closer than you think. Once you get there, you'll see all of the articles that I'm going to touch on. They all are in relation to what I'm going to talk about. I've been talking about this kind of stuff for 3 years. You guys have been with me for a lot of these things that have happened, a lot of the weird things that have happened on Earth here, of course. There's a good chunk of people that, they don't like space news at all because they don't believe in space. That sounds crazy, me saying that, and I understand. There is a good chunk of people that are like, what? What do you mean? There is a growing community that does not believe in space whatsoever. That is totally okay. You guys are all welcome here. As long as you don't come in and say everybody is this kind of idiot or that kind of idiot, you can believe whatever you want. In fact, that's one of my strong beliefs, is that we should all be saying, it's your right to believe that. It's your right to say that. I don't have to listen to that, or I can turn that off if I want. But it is your right to do so. I have people that I supremely don't like, but I absolutely 100% support their right to speak and to say things, even if it's about me. So that's a super, fading thing right now. I mean, it is incredible how fast speech is getting stifled right now. So I'll go over all of that. I'm going to say what's up to the chat. Thank you guys for all being here. This is Hardcore Foogle Fam here on Fridays. So Real Bible, Real Life, what's going on? Rockin' 55, Chance Paladin, hey, thanks for modding Lion's Heart. T-Loke 88, Jammer 1, Chrissy 21, Hopkinson, lots of people. It's crazy that I know almost all of these names. It's insane. Major, what was that? Major Run. We've got Jasana, we've got Recalcitrant, Tall Drink of Water, Flower Childs, Lilla Red, hey, nice to see you, Kansas. Let's see here. Hi, Adam says Garden Spices. Pamela Fox, it's nice to see you here again as well. The Beach Lady, let's see here. Gopher Mold, I love it. Instead of go for gold, go for mold. Anita Torres, hey, what's going on? Island by the Sea, thanks for showing up again. It says, hey, family. That was, what was that? Do not read? What was that? Do not give up. I think that's what it was. Sam Squatch, hey, how are you doing? Loma Linda Informer, mom of 2, Inky. Of course, I don't know if mama of 6 is here, but we got lots of mamas and lots of papas, and I think we almost have the makings of a band. Bo knows, Bo Jackson, what's going on? Again, everybody is welcome here. I know that there are certain things that, I think that anything that is not supposed to be talked about should be talked about. That's my honest opinion. But again, we are working on all sorts of things right now. We are literally, I'm watching just people disappear. In fact, if you look at my Twitter, this is 4,000 people have disappeared off of my group here. This is insanity. 4,000 people in less than like 5 days. In one day, it was like 2,000. So what is going on? I mean, I don't understand it. People, just bouncing out, getting off of it or getting kicked off. Absolutely insane. Let's introduce Dex. Dex is going to be answering the phone calls. Remember, tonight is unidentified. I thoroughly want to hear your stories. If you have had an experience with the sky, or if anything, any kind of strange or paranormal experience, tonight would be the one to call in on it. We specifically did this every single week. People request for this kind of thing because this is a lot of what the videos that we get in. People looking to the skies and seeing these things. So I heavily recommend sticking around for the calls. Dex, what's going on and how are you doing tonight?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing good. I think your Twitter, I think you're right. It's both. Both are the excuses. People leaving, but also people being forced to leave, so to speak, right?
Here's the thing. If you're watching or if you're a regular here, you guys know, I mean, what is going on around us right now, and it is so heavily charged. You guys know that we've been very, very careful about being on the safe side of things at all costs. And people have given us crap for that, but we have a lot of people that depend on this, and it's very easy to forget the huge group of 15,000 that we had before this. And I'm not talking about subscribers or followers. I'm talking about people that were meeting in our Discord groups and meeting in person and actually doing prep exercises. And there were groups that were meeting in California that, for example, one gentleman passed away last year, and his only family was Foogle family. So people from this audience, in fact, they were the only people at his funeral there. And, that was the kind of thing we ran into. It was like people found family here that they didn't have in real life. And that's because some of the topics that we have thought about or talked about or just questioned in general are topics that nobody feels like they can talk about. And I don't know if you guys agree, but do you think that that's appropriate? Do you think that that's okay that a lot of us go around walking around with questions and things that we want to say, but we can't because of peer pressure? Think about how this entire country and this entire world became the modern day civilization we know. What would that be without us being able to ask questions and to go against the grain? If people didn't go against the grain, they ended up in a country that was considered, I mean, in most cases, third world. You're talking about countries that just they were not successful. They've tried the pattern over and over again. History repeats itself. There are certain patterns that have not worked. And the U.S. pattern and most of the modern day civilizations, they do work. It's that kind of free thinking society that works, even if it has, different kind of angles on it. I'm sure, different countries run their countries different ways. Australia is a lot different from the U.S., but they still have a good chunk of that, being able to go against the grain. If you don't go against the grain, and if you can't go against the grain, what are we living in? This is really scary, people. Like, people need to be less scared of, something coming out of the sky and hitting, and more afraid about being able to talk about it the next day. That is incredible. I mean, all the people that are standing up to it, they're all disappearing. And this is like a, red alert emergency here. So I hope that people are understanding that, this is why we are making sure to try to I guess, be on the safe side, but also we're trying to build. So understand that. Understand what we are trying to build here and to get back to. I honestly think there's not a single free site that is dependable. So that is why most of these people are going and doing their own thing. But the problem with that is now everybody is on these paid sites. So if you want to watch EOW, or if you want to watch this person, or if you want to watch Lisa Haven or any of these people, they've all gone off onto their own little platforms and they're all on their own little island saying, hey, come over here. The other problem with that is that now you're having to pay $10 here, $10 there, $12 there, $12, and then all of a sudden you're paying $500 just to get what you should be able to get for free. I think that everything should be free, and I think that including what you're saying, and I think that they shouldn't have to do that. That's really scary. So just understand there's reasons we do what we do, and we are making sure that, we are abiding by, some of the rules right now. Of course, we're always going to, but we're going to try to, we're building. So just know that is in the works, and it's something that we really care about. But on top of that, I think that to have faith right now is really important. And if you're listening to this, you guys know that we usually go into the news and do all that. But I need everybody to have faith. Whether you hate me or love me or watch because I annoy you and you can't stop or something, I don't care. Just understand that you have to have faith. Understand that, just get through these tough times that we are in. And I guarantee you, no matter what side you're in, you are in tough times. I guarantee it, especially with the virus and everything else. So let's try to have a good time tonight. I'm going to talk about some stuff. I believe disclosure is coming soon. I might even have something that I want to clarify is something that I was told, and I do have no way to confirm it. But by June of this year, they said that huge information was going to be released. So that is something that I want to pass along. If it doesn't come to pass, then I will correct myself. In fact, you guys can go ahead and correct me if that doesn't happen. If it does, again, I wanted to let you guys know first. Other than that, I don't think, I think everybody's kind of expecting it. Everybody knows there is something coming. Disclosure, I don't know if it's a big part of what is going on. But I do know that people are moving off Earth, or they're trying to. So let's talk about this. Humans could move to a floating asteroid belt colony housing millions of people within 15 years. Now, this sounds nuts. And for some of you, sounds just downright dumb and whatever because you don't believe in it at all. I get that. This is where I say we will see. This is one of the things where you're going to have to see it with your own eyes. But I feel from the people I've talked to that this is the goal, and it's not something that was, this is something that was pushed, that people didn't absolutely have to do or want to do yet, but it is being done because of something else. I will stick to getting a lot of crap for saying that I think that they have already discovered something hitting us in the future. So I don't know. I like a meteor or something is coming. And that eventually either that or we're running out of resources, and for real, not what they use on National Geographic or this or that we are going to run out of something that we don't even know about yet. And, we know about all of the other ones. We know they believe we'll need desalination plants very soon because obviously water is one of the most important things. People go, oh, it's the end of the world. I think it's just going to be, I don't think it's going to be the end for everybody. I think it's just going to change, and it's going to keep changing until something else happens, until something biblical happens, or who knows. It says humans could live on giant orbs floating in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter within the next 15 years. It says that's what bonkers claim made by top scientist Pekka Janhunen, who says millions of people could inhabit a megacity in space by 2026. Wait a second. That says 2026. That says within 5 years, but I'm sure that was a typo. And again, it says Dr. Jen Hunen, a astrophysicist with the Finnish Meteorological Institute of Helsinki, described his vision in a research paper published this month. He laid out the blueprint for floating mega satellites around dwarf planet Ceres, which lies about 325 million miles away from Earth. It says the motivation is to have a settlement with artificial gravity that allows growth beyond Earth's living area. The vast majority of plots to settle distant worlds revolve around the moon or Mars. This is largely due to their close proximity to Earth. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that this is just absolutely silly? I know that there's going to be people that just think it's dumb. But what do you actually think about it? There is obviously a lot of people that are going to be undecided. I think that there's a lot of people that think that we will not make it to this point because there's going to be something else. I'm going to go over to the chat and I'm going to see what you guys think about this. Let's see here. Somebody says you should move to a different site. Trust me, there's going to be all sorts of things going on very soon. Check out this space. So if you guys want to know the real truth, I think that something's going to snap here soon. That is my honest opinion. And I am basically, there's been many days in the last week where we're like, we're ready for anything. And I really mean that like anything. It says, Ryan Alter says, I like it on Earth, just need more options. It says, these are all distractions as colors are changing. So I don't know. Here's one problem I have with that statement is everybody says these are all distractions. Nobody knows the answer to what is not a distraction. I'll tell you this much. I think that people are in kind of denial that we have a lot of people here and a lot of greedy people. And I think people are in denial that there is a class above all classes that really thinks that we are just absolute, pieces of nothing. That is something that I think that is always been around as far as the caste system. Now it's about castes. Now it's like you're poor, you're this, you're that. These people it's so extraordinarily different from our way of life. I mean, you're talking about Elon Musk having $160 billion. That's just so insane. That's more than governments have in whole countries. You're talking about you have more money than certain countries around the world. That is not okay. And what are they doing with it? They're sitting on Twitter, making fart jokes or posting memes. That is insane to me. So we're going to be going into some crazy stuff here. And I hope that you guys all ride this with me all the way through. I don't blame anybody if they don't stick around for too long. And I know that there's been people here for 3 years. There's been my mods. There's been a lot of people that have stuck around. But it's getting really serious. So if I, for whatever reason, for one day I'm just not there, just know that you guys got to keep it going. You got to keep connected. You got to keep doing videos. You got to keep, maybe use the hashtag or something so you can still stay connected. This, I do in my heart think that there's going to be something and that this is something to be looking at. As far as distractions, nobody's really paying attention to this. I mean, this isn't huge. Everybody's not talking about this. This isn't the huge distraction to get you away from what's going on. In fact, what's going on is probably the distraction. I mean, there's things that are happening that are so very clear. It's like, why would you need that many people there, right? Why would you need that many people there? Why are the fences facing that way? This and that. There's all sorts of weird things that it's like, if you just look at it logically, you're like, what the hell is going on here? And something is big. Doing trials that technically you're like, well, you can't even do that. So why are you even doing it? I'm like not listening to anything, and I'm that's why I say keep faith. There's nothing out there. I cannot believe how every single platform, every single media is just spitting out stuff. So when there's a story like this, I do pay attention. This is off to the side. This is the sun.uk. But our news, it's like I can't even listen to it anymore. They put in the same two words in everything, and they're just regurgitating the same stuff. And they're regurgitating it about a thing that really, if it didn't get the same coverage, it's very different. Talking about a year versus 1 day versus about 4 hours. And they're just regurgitating until it's just insatiable. I mean, it's just gross. So just know, if there's 1,000 distractions and one thing really going on, that one thing, you better believe, is one hell of a big thing. So I hope that everybody has supplies. I hope that everybody has water, especially just those two, just water, and mainly just tons of water, whatever you can do. Legally, of course. I know that some states have limits or whatever, so I can't say that, but get water. Get all this stuff together. As far as this goes in the future, having these things, I don't know what I think something's there, and it's hard to say things that that people are like, oh, you believe that? You're so stupid. I really don't care. I do believe we will be, or they're trying to go off Earth. I believe that something is going down. That's my personal belief. If you have yours, you can state it, and we can even have it on the show. NASA's Mars rover's Perseverance lands on the red planet in less than a month. So, of course, this is another rover. I don't get some of the stuff that they do. It says the touchdown of NASA's next Mars rover is less than a month away. The car-sized Perseverance rover, the core of NASA's $2.7 billion Mars 2020 mission, will land February 18th, kicking off a new era of red planet exploration. What's even crazier is that this is $2.7 billion. Imagine somebody like Elon Musk has 160, or he's worth 160. Say if he just has $50 billion in cash in his bank or something. That's enough to do 25 NASA's, the whole project. I mean, like, that's absolutely just mind-boggling to me. The money that one person has. That almost should be illegal. It's like he can't even spend all of his money in a lifetime. And this is what really makes me mad, is like, if I had that much money, I would be giving away just parts of it to somebody and then letting that somebody live off of the interest from that money. Once you make a certain amount of money, you keep that in the bank, that makes interest more than just the interest off of what you have sit in the bank. You could pull out once a year and live off of that better than most people live on full-time jobs. It's like, what's crazy to me is, like, if you have $160 billion, how much interest accrues in 1 year? So just that interest, if they shaved it off the top and gave that interest to somebody and just kept that going, they would never go down in money, and somebody else would be gaining money. I mean, like, have you ever thought of that? Like, wouldn't it be nice if you won the mega billions or whatever, or somebody won the mega billions and just gave you $2 million and set it in the bank and said you can only take the interest? That enough would be like amazing. The what do you call it? The Mega Millions is up to $1 billion. That's insanity. But you have this, the NASA. It's like, NASA, how good is this thing? I mean, if this, I think that there is something else far more important here, and it's conflict. It's grabbing power. I think we're going to see the last power grab and the last land grab, and it's going to be in our lifetimes, and it's going to be soon. So this all ties in, which is crazy. You're talking about all these different kinds of stories. How does it all tie in? That's the puzzle piece we need. But I think it will. This is The rover landing on Mars, we'll see. We're going to see pictures. Nobody's going to believe the pictures, but we'll see some stuff there. If Elon Musk is right, then very soon regular people will be going up there, or at least they say. If not, what about not Mars? Like what they said, living on these gravity-fueled, satellites. SpaceX is to set a record for most satellites launched on a single mission. So these are getting bigger and bigger. They're doing these things. Look at the size of that, though. That is crazy. That's a normal person is right about there. Imagine standing next to that thing. Now, they are launching all of these things, and from what I've heard from our sources and from military is that they're making a grid around our planet. What is that grid for? What's even crazier is this thing here. If you do trucking, if you know the straps that you strap down things, this thing must be like a 10-foot across strap. That is so giant, like a person could lay down on that as a hammock. That is insanity. Somebody says, bold as a lion says NASA equals to deceive, or never a straight answer. Or, yeah, no, I get it. Jeremiah Gabbert says you have not seen it yet. Wowza, grid of frequency so harmful to the human body. Shameful. Let's see. Your life is better on stilts. Who's they? Yeah. So when I know Chance Paladin, my mod, says that we get that a lot. When we're talking about they, it's always in the context of the show. So if we're talking about NASA and I say they, that's NASA. If we're talking about the government, I say they, that's the government. But usually it's an us versus them. Those or them, they are the people that don't give a crap about us. They are the people running this planet. They is almost always they, as in like they don't care about you. They are running things from the side. But also, I don't see how we kind of get that so much. It's always in the context of the article. If we're talking about NASA, it's NASA. If it's a bank, then it's the bankers. If it's a school, then it's the teachers, or whatever context it is in. It's pretty crazy stuff, though. What do you guys think about space? Lots of things are going on right now. Of course, right now, we're trying to build something so we can talk about some of the other stuff. We know about in February, they're gonna gouge even more people. So we've kind of had this behind the scenes, this running kind of gateway or deadline where we know people are going to get wiped out. So I do appreciate your patience. That's one thing I just really want to tell you guys, and thank you guys for your loyalty. Unicorn Forest, Maui Racing Realtor, thanks for the support. Island by the Sea, Bear Claws, Jeremy, Indiana, thank you. Dex, if you want to pop in at all about any of those, I don't know. Honestly, like right now, it just kind of, it irritates me that all of this is going on and can't even, I mean, really all of this stuff I do get is a distraction. And then we have dueling Mars missions highlight escalating U.S.-China space race. In February, unmanned spacecraft from China and the U.S. are scheduled to reach Mars, where both will dispatch rovers to the frigid surface, offering dueling images of its barren landscape. Dex,
Hey, Adam, I'm back.
Yeah, no worries. Can you turn off, you guys on DLive? We're going to go over to YouTube for a minute. Dex, can you turn off DLive for a minute? We're just going to, you guys over on D Live, I'm going to ask you to do something that some of you may not like, but we're all going to pop over to YouTube for a minute because I need you guys all in one chat so I can see everybody. I apologize for everybody on D Live. Again, we will most likely come back and I'll take a vote on that all in one chat, but you guys can all access that. And Dex, just let me know when you do. I don't know if this cord is not there. All right, you guys, we're going to go over to one chat here. Here at YouTube, it looks like it all went over to YouTube. All right. So, first of all, there's new stuff. We have not talked to staff over at DLive, but they're just doing all sorts of, interesting stuff, and I think it's not their fault. What it is I think that from above, the companies that they're running through, they're a smaller company. They're not like this one, right? Where they're running through these other companies, kind of the similar situation with the Parler app, right? And they could just disappear at any moment if they don't kind of fall in line. Now, what is fall in line is really scary to me because falling in line means basically there's not a single app out there right now, and you guys know this is happening right now. It's really hard for us to do this on our end because every single day, no matter what it is risking not only our livelihoods, but risking being targeted permanently. And that should not be what is going on. I mean, like you guys know, even before all of this stuff went down, we have always been extremely just, I don't cuss in public. I don't do that kind of stuff anyways. I've always been, I guess, family friendly. I'm having a hard time covering this stuff too. Even on Identified Friday, there's no news. Dex, if you want to chime in here too, there's stuff that we want to talk about, but we know there are more purges coming even this week. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? It's really hard. Like, it's very depressing for us, too. Like, I'm just being open and honest with you guys. It's really, really hard to do this right now. And Dex knows we have never had it this hard. Like, I mean, we don't care about losing advertising. That's not the thing. It's about losing your channel. It's about losing your platform for no reason. My opinion is that we're not to this way or to that way, but everyone agrees you can't even talk about it unless you're an authoritative source. How do you get to be an authoritative source? Well, millions and millions of dollars. If you're not, right now, anyone who talks about anything outside of the realm of this thing is going to be gone. And what scares me is the future where there is no alternative media. There is no small news. There is no small opinions. There's no theories. There's no questions. And I don't think people understand how serious this is. I stopped DLive because DLive is, I'm not going to say anything bad about DLive. DLive is a smaller place. And I wanted to turn it off because I wanted to be, we don't know what's going on DLive, but DLive is basically a similar thing to what happened to, I believe, Parler, where it went from up above. So I don't blame DLive for what is going on. It's not just a money thing. It's like a permanent kind of thing. I am a GP over there and I'm proud to be. So again, I want to protect that over there as best we can because that is a great place. And I think once we work out, we need to figure out like if we need to be switching into something, if we're talking about stuff. So that's what's going to happen on YouTube. What's even crazier is that we always told you guys to go over to DLive because we could say T-Man, we could say, President B, right? Over here, we can't. We could always say that over there, but now over there, that might actually put you in a different tag category. And then once you're tagged like that, you can be tagged permanently. We've never been tagged X-Tag. Never been there. Our show is not, because we don't, they said anything you can talk about in a public space or easily talk about at work, which all of our stuff can be. So our stuff isn't. But if we do a specific show like we did last week on war, we did it over here. So it's actually been more lax over here than some of the smaller platforms because they have ultimate control over everything. People say it's about this and that. We get demonetized and all sorts of stuff all the time. That's not... Really, it's about the reach and limiting reach. We don't go this way or that way, and we welcome everybody. We welcome people from the left. We welcome people from the right. So there shouldn't be any reason we can't talk about certain issues, but right now it is very unsure of. Now you could say, oh, well, these people talk about it and they're just fine. Either they're so big that they have a personal connection at YouTube, or they are part of a multi-channel network. We're completely independent. People give us a lot of crap. They call us names. They say this, but we are completely independent. It was just me, and it's then now just me and Dex. And we don't have backup from anybody. Neither did a lot of these people, and what happened is when they were gone, nobody fought for them. We're just little tiny YouTubers. Nobody cares about us for real if we got deleted or gone. So the people that are saying, oh, well, you're a punk, you should go out like this and go out of guns a-blazing. I have 3 kids. I have 4 kids. I have 3 little kids that need my care. And this is my work now. I've thought about doing a regular job and then doing much less of this show so I wouldn't have to worry about it. So if I lost it, then I would have my regular job. Because I want to talk about some more stuff. And it's actually killing me to not. But that's why I'm saying you guys just have to have faith. We should be able to talk, and we're not this way or that way. But that doesn't matter, because what I see in the pattern is like no small news in the future. And they already took it out of recommended. They took it out of, no search engine optimization and stuff like that. But when they get rid of it completely, we're in a lot of trouble. It may not be about me. It may be about somebody else that you listen to that you think does have influence. They call the job an influencer for a reason. It's influence. That's why we make sure to back up everything we say, to give you links for everything. And it's like, Dex, I don't know if something's wrong with your end, but I can't. It's really hard for us because this is a constant struggle. Margaret Latch says, becoming authoritarian all over the place, scary times. I think this is actually a bigger story than any of the stuff we're talking about right now. So I want to ask you guys while you're all in one place. This is important for me to ask you. This is why I'm asking you. I'm just putting it out there. If we had to go and build our own thing, and I'm trying to figure out how we would do it. What if we did it on the side, and if we could just get enough on the side to run something? Would there be a way for us to make a free service that we could run our own thing? And Dex knows all the technical ways, but he's saying almost every way requires us to either use a service or whatever. Is there a way that we could start our own kind of thing? And would you guys, do you think that there would be a model where people could help it run itself so we could talk about the things we want? Not a paid service. So if you wanted to watch it for free, you could. That's the hard part. How do all these other apps make their money? They make their money off of your information. If you don't, then you have to physically pay, and then people complain because they don't want to pay for stuff. They want to have it for free. But at the same time, there's no free site right now that actually is free speech. Look at what happened to the only thing that did. So EOW and all these people are doing it, and it's really hard for me. Like, I've never wanted to take money. I started out and I never asked for it for the first year. We do it now. We're trying to expand, and we're trying to, and this is my job now. But how are we supposed to do this? People say, oh, go to this little website. The second that we do, within a month, I don't know if you guys have seen this pattern. We're not a part of any of those groups. We're not a part of any of this stuff. We're like PG 6.5. But what we do and where our strength is because we ask questions and we go into those rabbit holes without making it to where your kid can't watch with you as well. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, we go down, we question things, and we go down all avenues. Looks like Dex got disconnected or something. Are you there, Dex? I don't know if I lost you. I know you're on the phones, but...
Testing 1 2.
Oh,
Testing
it was
1, 2.
off. So,
I'm here.
Dex, I couldn't do it. I'm having a hard time, and this is our normal unidentified Friday, but it is really, it's really eating us all away. It's eating every one of us.
It's extremely frustrating when you can't speak freely. You can't say what you want to say. I mean, I know, we talk about it on this platform on YouTube where we are now. It's like, oh, well, some people can say this and some people say, well, you could and we could, and then you just wouldn't go anywhere. You'd get, you get demonetized, or worse, you get deplatformed, right?
Or shadowed.
Or shadowed. Any one of those three things happen, and they actually do happen in phases all the time. We see it happen to ourselves. We know when we've been, when we've said too many of the wrong things, all of a sudden we see these negative effects, and then when we back off or try to make sure things don't happen, and boom, we start to see more positive effects. It's sort of like, it's crazy. It shouldn't be that way, but it is, and that's how we've survived. That's why we've done what we've done on this platform. But it is extremely disheartening, and it's almost crazy now to think that, like you said, we come over to YouTube now to talk because of the smaller guys. We thought we had more elbow room over there, but we actually don't, right? And even though we're not doing anything crazy like they're trying to avoid, we could still get easily caught up in the kerfuffle that's being created by some of those stronger voices over there that are doing more extreme things.
And there's the stuff like the people that focus, that the public is focusing on them because they say that these people are talking about colors, like skin colors and all of this. What is happening is, because there's free speech platforms like that, is what happened is it does attract people that take advantage of free speech, and that's, I'm sorry to say, but that's kind of what it's meant to be there for. You have to go into a dark corner of the internet to find those people, and they say that that's too dangerous, and that is scary to me, because what they did to Parler is basically saying you need to stop it before it happens, when they're saying, but we're a platform, we need to stop it after it happens because that's the law. That's how
that was just their excuses. That was just their excuses. But they took that one down to take that one down because they could. It was getting too popular too fast. Just like, and it happened to Gab too. The exact same thing happened 4 years before.
Storyfire, all of them.
They took the apps down out of the App Store. Exact same story. Unfortunately for Parler, they were not in a position to survive, and now they're having to scramble. And they were hoping to win a lawsuit, and it didn't work. But Gab has spent 3 years, fighting this fight and trying to figure out, how to survive by themselves, and even that is a very difficult thing to do. And they've got
and that's what I was asking. You were turned off on accident. I don't know how I did that, but basically,
and believe me, I know I was yelling for you. I was like, Adam.
Well, because it's like, And most people, I think, what do we do? How do we do this? I just, what would you guys prefer? I think that, I've thought of everything from grouping up with 10 or 12 people and then having like, I just don't want to end up ever like WikiLeaks or not WikiLeaks, Wikipedia, where they put something on their page begging for money because nobody is giving and everybody's taking. It's like, I never want to be that website, I don't want to ever have it be a required thing. But where else do we go, you guys?
Well, I think that there are people there are people working on this problem at a much bigger level than us. I know that for example, Gab's working on it, and I know there's probably some other larger investments that are happening in the space. The problem is these guys all have to work outside of the normal services that are typically available to companies when you're building out. Services from hosting, services from domain management, services from what's called a CDN, where they help manage the traffic that flows from all over the different parts of the network into your app or into your place. All of those services are choke points that can be cut off, and that's what we saw happen. Where with Parler, it was ultimately first it was the app stores, but then it was just Amazon saying, okay, we're just going to turn off your servers. You just can't have them. And I guarantee you, if it wasn't that, it would have been Cloudflare or some other in between system or a CDN that would have shut something down, because they have to rely on all those. So I think what we're going to see, and hopefully what we'll see, is other platforms build their own, and they're going to have to build that infrastructure. And the infrastructure is the big expensive part. That's the part that takes a lot of time. I mean, anybody can grab a server, throw it in a closet, and stick it on your internet and run something, but that doesn't run a platform that you need to do even a show like ours. So you have to have an infrastructure.
Yeah, how many people watch our show on average? 15,000 live. Oh, and then the other thing is,
it's the concurrent live. I mean, doing 15,000 concurrent live, even if you went to a streaming provider to provide the stream management just for the streams, it's and not doing it free, doing it paid, it's a lot. So like Vimeo and people like what's his face, RFB, they got kicked off of Vimeo even. So it's like there's no, and here's the thing. What is he, he's not calling for people to go out there and hurt people. He's not doing this or that. There's a lot of people that are, it's just that it doesn't, what is happening is it seems like it's just one way or the highway. It's our way or the highway. And that can't be. It's not because I'm like, the Constitution or anything. I am saying that, but at the same time, this is a worldwide thing. It's something that isn't like a U.S. thing. It's something that's a modern civilization thing. It's a free-thinking, free-spirited evolution of people. We've gone down the path before. We know exactly where it leads. I'm sorry, anybody that says Constitution when it comes to any of these services that we're on, I sort of chuckle and say, go look at what happened to POTUS. I mean, of all the people you think that would never be censored, that one was. I mean, people say, who are we to be able to say that we have more clout than that? Well, and again, that was like the ultimate, like, how many creators are scared now because of that? Because if you can do that to people, I talked to even some of my friends, and I said, how are you okay with that? Like, and it's not, and I've talked to people that are unbelievable. They can't believe it. They're not supporters. They hate the man, but say, whoa, this is scary. They're scared. They hate him with a passion. Like at times a couple of years ago, I wasn't talking to these people. They hate him with a passion, but they said, how are they able to take that person and not let them speak when they are in office still? I mean, other countries saw that and said, holy crap. Other countries started fleeing off of the thing because they're like, wait, if they could do that to them, they could do it to all of us. And guess who runs the world? Not our president is the most powerful man, no matter if you like him or hate him. Whoever is sitting in that chair
at the time, sitting in that office, is one of the most powerful men in the world. And the companies that are here in the U.S. are basically worldwide. No matter where you go, there's, like Facebook, for example, Brazil has something called Orkut. It's their version or whatever. They might have a small competitor kind of like that or whatever. But everywhere has Facebook. Everywhere has it. I mean, they're in every country. This platform,
except for China.
Everywhere. Yeah, except for China.
But it's funny you said that. He's the most powerful man. Whoever has that chair is the leader of the free world, one of the most powerful men in the world, right? But tech said they were more powerful and showed it.
And I don't think people think that it could be this big. Because say you go to work and, okay, here's a perfect example. You just went into your office. This is a regular office setting, like The Office, the movie, right? Total, like, cubicles. There's 50 people working on a floor. And I'm telling you, this analogy is going to work perfectly for explaining this, I think. There's 50 people on that floor, and all of them are in cubicles. You go into work 9:05. Work started at 8, and there's ambulances out front. And you go in, and you're like, what the heck happened? You have 20. One person in the room says, yeah, that guy, Bill punched Bob in the face, and then, Bob got him with a knife, right? He tells you that. Well, 20 other people walk up and tell you, oh no, nothing happened. That person's going to go, oh, nothing happened. I don't know why he told me that. But you're going to believe nothing happened because 20 other people were in on it, and they said, no, nothing happened. I have a cousin who thinks, they say, oh, we watch BBC, so we're, basically, oh, no, we don't pay attention to this side or that side. We watch BBC. You know how stupid that sounds? BBC is like a blend. You go to bbc.com, at the bottom of every BBC article, it says, BBC is not responsible for the news that it grabs from other places. It grabs news from all over. They're just grabbing other people's news and centralizing it, and then they have their own opinion pieces. But, I mean, they grab news from all over the place and put it on bbc.com. And it's all the regurgitation. And, I mean, this is when it these people are going to soon realize, and it doesn't matter who you are, and I'm like, there's people in this room right now that support everything that's going on, and I'm like, you don't understand. It's not, I know people on the inside, and they're, but they won't trust me because they have their ideas of things. So it's pointless trying to convince somebody else of something that they don't believe, and it's cognitive dissonance. They don't want to believe it, and their brain wants to tell them this or that. A lot of it's out of hatred, or they don't have much purpose in their life, and what is happening is they're clinging on to something, and it makes them feel better to talk badly about it, or this or that. People cling on to things, and then once they're right, and everybody else is wrong. I don't think I'm right. Some of the stuff that I know, I've seen it with my eyes. I know what I know. And it's kind of like once you've seen a bunny rabbit has 4 legs, but you go over to a small island where they've never had a single bunny ever, and you're going, well, a bunny has 6 legs. That person is going to go, oh, okay, cool. Bunnies have 6 legs. But since there's another guy standing there, like, they've seen a bunny. There's no bunny with 6 legs. That person knows a bunny with 4 legs. But the person next to him, for 100 years, their family tribal stories have been bunnies have 6 legs. he's going to go, no, bunnies have 6 legs. And he's going to be 100% right in his head. Right now with everything, I just need everybody's help. I need all you guys to help brainstorm, you know. I need you guys all to try to share the stuff out. And then in the event anything does happen, you guys, I just hope that my small crowd has such a big heart and such a big presence and realizes how much we could do together, that you guys do something, that you don't depend on somebody else. You don't think that, oh, somebody else will do it or somebody else will take care of it. We all have the power to change the world. And you, by yourself, watching, have the power to change things in this world on a grand scale. And once you realize that, once you start sitting... 4 years ago, I was sitting in my car just doing... 3 years ago, I was doing just random cell phone videos. Nobody was watching. And now we have 300,000 people around the world watching. That means that one person can change the world. People have been married because of this channel. You know, regardless if you like or hate me, people have met people here. People have lifelong friends because of this. So does that mean that my life, if I was not born, since I was born, just because of my stupid show, those people now know each other and now have friends for life? So if I can do it, that certainly means you can do it. And that means that you can also go to work or go to your, wherever you may go. You can spread this and spread it like wildfire. There's a lot of people doing chats and stuff. I'm sorry. We're going to try to get all of them probably on the next show. Really, really thank you. Trying to keep us Foogle fam connected. Thank you. God is in control and he will give us strength and peace in the storm. Bill I. Breckenridge. Misunderstood. Naughty Beaver said 3/21/21. The new Mayan calendar resets from my calculations. Again, I don't know what the truth math is. They've told when that new the Mayan calendar ended, everybody's like, oh crap. You know, Stephen Hawking said, no, they did the math wrong. They didn't count leap years or something. And it actually is ahead or something. And we haven't hit the true Mayan calendar. I believe that there's going to be a lot of people around that date that are freaking out too. Ty Palomino, D Live is down. Okay, Lisa K, D Live just dropped off. I'm sorry you guys missed that announcement. I'm glad you made it over though. Meat Puppet 007, Marf D Live is no video audio. Hopefully you guys, if somebody chance or somebody else spread, make sure to go over there. I'm sure you already thought of it. YouTube admin Marf, do a newsletter, man. It's the only way to get info out. So you do a newsletter and then your newsletter service is cut off and then that's again. Isn't it? I mean, we're in just crazy times. What can we do?
And not only that, but you also have to be careful with what you do in other places because they hold you accountable for it in a place you didn't do it.
What do you mean? Like if we sent it to Australia and...
No. If, you said one thing in a newsletter or on another platform, but they can still hold you accountable on this platform and say, well, we don't like what you did over there.
And once that
happens.
Once that started getting, I'll be honest, people all cheered when Mr. Jones got taken off, but guess what? That was pushing the limits. And did people not get it? It was like Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They all did it, but they all said it was for their own reasons, and it was because they incited this or that. And people said then, if they can silence him with millions of dollars and just they cut off the service from the top. That was a practice run. If they cut from the top, then they can do it to anybody. When that happened, and whether he's a shill, I think he's quite possibly, he woke up millions of people to just asking questions. That's what I think. But even if he is what I think he is he slowly, became more of a salesman and was doing his stuff and make a living. I think he crossed over the line into where it was he was trying to be legendary or something. I don't know. In his heart, what was going on? I have no idea. But his instance, that was bad. And now look at where it's gone. So it's some scary stuff. Machina Opus, you are a real human, Marv. That's why people love you. Oh, thank you from Australia. Machina Opus, I appreciate that. Doc Bill, just like the book burning in nasty WW2. Krista R., thank you so much for your support tonight. You didn't write a message, but I appreciate it. And Krista, thank you. Quantum Cat, love and blessings to the Foogle fam. Thanks, Adam, Dex, and Mods. Wrong Pill says chin up, chest up, forward. Hashtag Team Humanity. Susan Donahue with you. That's awesome. And Susan Donahue, if you're not here tonight, I appreciate you and thank you so much as well. And then we have Suzanne. You'd have to build your own servers. Exactly. Lisa K, the truth is worth sacrifice. See, yeah, I don't know if you mean by like that. But after sacrifice, we're just gone. So the one thing I don't, and I know you don't mean this in that way, people go, well, why don't you just say it and go out guns a-blazing? Well, then you're just gone permanently. You don't come back. It's easy for somebody else to say. I mean, that's like saying, hey, you don't like your job? Tell your boss to F off during a pandemic. Just tell him to F off and say, hey, just, F off. And then leave your job. You have 4 kids, but just go ahead and say, screw you, buddy. Tell everybody about the boss's bad habits. Are you going to actually do it? It's easy to say it. It's not as easy to do it. I love Beagles. I would pay Love Foogle fam. I love Beagles. And that's what I'm saying. Not even saying that. Like, how would we do it? Can we do it a side thing, like it's just to run the thing so we can do it and maybe get other creators in on it or something? I don't know. But guess what happens? You use a service and then they go say, okay, well, you can't host it there. And we're not even trying to say anything extreme. We're just trying to say what we just talk about things, and we're not Fox or CNN.
Well, and the whole world's connected. It's not just that. Like we go to a service. Like there's other services that do streaming, and a lot of them charge, and some of them cost a pretty penny. You can have VOD and all sorts of cool stuff, right? We could go do that, but the moment we do that, if we get labeled or flagged, or any of the other people show up and do that and get labeled and flagged, it's not that company itself may want to turn you off. It's the companies that they work for that may influence them and force them to do it, which is what we've seen even with, the other smaller free platforms. They're forced by a financial situation, by a finance company,
or advertisers,
by something else, right? There are so many interconnected pieces in a lot of these things that it's almost impossible to be completely isolated and in your own private platform. So you're always going to have these types of issues.
So say you have your own private platform. So take EOW, for example. They've got their own, and they got a lot of their people before they were just wiped out. But they can't even buy an ad to put it on this platform to let people know about it. So after a certain point, you have a good base of current people paying for your service, and then it just thins out and thins out. Well, how are you going to get new people? It would have to be word of mouth. So that's why I ask you guys. You guys got to get good at this word of mouth and bringing people in, and if you guys do that, what we'll do on our end is try to figure out how we can stop holding back.
Well, and just like they lost they can't do the ads. What are they going to do when they can't accept transactions?
And then what are they supposed to put out? A TV quality documentaries, all of this, but just do it for free.
Right. We've seen the transaction providers, that begin with letter P. Those guys have shut down people, right? And we've also seen, I know for a fact that Torbo over at Gab, he got hit completely from the entire financial ecosystem, his whole house. His wife's totally side business, all her credit cards, everything shut down. Couldn't use anything. Couldn't transact anything.
You're talking about where they make it so you can't even use Gmail or Maps, or it goes into like personal life. That's what's so crazy.
You literally got to send them a check right now if you want to support them. I feel bad. That's pretty bad. Literally a check.
There's right now, actually, they're cutting out bank institutions. Are saying we don't want your business at our bank. That's what's happening to certain people that were associated with our former prez. So that should violate every law possible. But they're private companies, so they can refuse the right to serve anyone. So I hope you guys are ready, because if you look at history, this is only leading towards a massive upheaval. And we're just trying to cover what's happening. It's insanity. Let's see here. In the meantime, it looks like on the back end, I need to refresh this. Okay. To get back on track. I'm sorry, you guys. This is just really getting to all of us, and it's incredibly hard. Nobody understands it, and I'm sure there's going to be complaining, oh, quit bitching, or this or that. I don't care for the negativity, and if that's the case, then, go watch somebody else. If I have to lose some subscribers and sacrifice those subscribers, then okay. For those who aren't patient, like, I've put a lot of work into this, and I'm not going to just, I'm not going to give up ever. At the same time, I've seen what happens to the people that have been affected, and it's becoming like really heart-wrenching, like friends that were right there with you, and now it's like they're getting evicted and they're out on the streets. People that were successful influencers just 4 months ago. That's mind-boggling to me. Just sending love and peace your way, Adam and Dex. I feel the heartbreak in your voices. You are not alone. Foogle fam is behind you 100%. One drummer guy, thank you. You guys must know it too. You must see everybody else going through it. You must be going through it. Some of you. Burma Christie. Uper Viking, thank you. Burma Christie, thank you. People I know money is tight, but if we don't do this together, cancel cable, this will build into something much bigger. Ask EOW. I pay them every month and would do the same for you. That's the thing, Uper, though. You end up paying them, you pay me, you pay Lisa Haven, you pay this. Then nobody can afford that. Wes Romans, it's like that movie, Pump Up the Volume. Ed Whalen, let's all get on a video chat of some sort and pick each other's brains and try to come up with something. Just throwing it out there. Ed Whalen, I love it. Ed Whalen, aka Ed G. Whalen, thank you. I'm just trying to check. Like, we don't know. I don't know what to do, but I don't know how long I don't know how long I would even do this. Like, there's been thoughts of just going back to being a sales associate at a bank or doing something else, This is like really, people think they make all this money. Platforms take a huge chunk. Everything Taxes take a huge chunk. Of course, it's me and Dex, but they don't think about all the things we pay for to run a thing like this, and it's like, it's not fun unless you love it. And I love this. I love doing my show, and I love being with you guys, and I love drama has hit me so many times, and that kind of burnt. But this last thing, I'm starting to not, I'm starting to I guess I'm having a bad day. So thank you guys for sticking around and being on this journey with me.
Well, I do hope there's light at the end of the tunnel here, because
I said have faith. I think that things are going to change.
It's got to change, and the pendulum will swing. And I think in this case, usually it swings, and we're used to like these 8-year swings of this pendulum, and this time we swung the pendulum really far, really fast, so it came back in a hurry to the other side. But I hope that we'll start to catch the rebound here, and I also think that there are too many people that are awake, that have like minds, that want to participate in something that it's not going to be impossible for some of these larger tech investments that are out there to actually work. And there's people,
but it doesn't
like
matter. They can change the laws. That's the part, Dex. That's what's really frustrating about this. And it's like, for something like Twitter, it's like, I think it took me a year to grow another 4,000 subscribers, and in one day I lose all of that. That's like a year of me reaching out to people and people finding me randomly, even though my findability is down, and it's like in one day they rip that away after a year of working on something like that. Like, that's what, our reach, it's not, we don't get paid on Twitter. Twitter is like, Twitter is like work that you do for free, right? But again, worked really hard, and haven't grown since like I got a little, mark on it or whatever. It's been over a year. It took me 4,000 people wiped out in one day. It's like, that's really discouraging. And then we went up 2,000 subscribers after 13 videos of clean videos, no marks or whatever, and then it just goes down another 1,000. It's like, we went from 75% recommended back in the day down to, it doesn't even Dex, it didn't register for a while. Now it's like up to 5% or something, but that means no new people. So that's why I've been asking you guys, and I mean it, and I hope you guys do, like, get a family member. That's the only new way to get people in. Wouldn't that be kind of down?
Well, imagine if everybody listening right now, which is what, 5,000 usually, if every one of these people have got 2 more people to listen, to subscribe, that would be huge. Just 2. Just go 2 people, get them to subscribe. Well, that would push against that algorithm.
It'd be listen.
You had 5. Not just subscribe, but listen. Yeah. But it would also push against that algorithm. Push back.
Insane. Master K, thank you so much. Jessica mentioning Dad the Gamer. As London said, reach out to Skywatch TV. You might be surprised what you find. American Patriot Party, thank you so much. I will, Dad the Gamer, I'll have to look at that when I'm done. Mary mentioning, thank you. Lisa K, there's a way. There's always a way. We can figure this out. Lisa K, you sound like the Mandalorian. No, I need Mandalorian to say, this is the way. Jessica Menchel says, life is better on stilts. Hello, Jessica, and thank you. You are right. Master K, Wes Romans, if the only way to get to you is membership site, we would go in bulk. But I don't want to do that. I've never wanted to do that. But what else is there? What other way we could continue doing stuff? Should we do that and then do only like just uncensored there? Like, you guys see what's going on. Even the free sites, the other decentralized I cannot believe that decentralized platforms are getting hit now, because those decentralized platforms are smaller and they've been hit. So if they lose their processing and all that, then they go out of business. It's not even about us. If they just lost all their biggest people, regardless of what their voice was. Everybody wonders, like, how without those big people, then, and if they can't earn a living off of that, then how are they going to keep the thing open? It's, them today, but it's the whole platform tomorrow. And you can say, well, go to this one. How many times have we switched platforms? Like, oh, now everybody go over to Trovo. But then Trovo does it. And then everybody go over here. We shouldn't have to move. We could be on Channel 13 and have no problems with the FCC or anything, because we don't swear, we don't cuss. We're not showing this or that. I mean, it's frustrating. Uper Viking... I'd make up flyers. Oh, you guys don't have to do that anymore, guys. Gone Girl says, we have your back, Adam and Dex. Foogle fam strong. Prayers up. Foogle love. Gone Girl, you don't have to do that, and you don't ever have to do that, and that's the point. I'm really having a hard time. You guys, please just cut those off. I can't read all of them. You guys get what I mean? Like, we're at a precipice right now, and I don't know what we're going to do. Because, I'm no techie, but the main problem seems to be the platforms. Dex knows, how does one build their own platform? Think big. There has to be a solution. Lisa K, several people have done it. And that's the thing. They're all relying on somebody above. And those people above hold the keys to a lot of stuff. Juan C. Gonzalez, keep pushing on, Adam Dex. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the positive words. Uper Viking says, I'd make up flyers and put them on cars. I brought you 3 people already and we'll work for more. Thank you, Uper. You're awesome. CR. But what are you going to bring them to if we can't talk about stuff? Then they get there and they're like, well, they're not really saying much. Well, yeah. Can't even say what we said 3 weeks ago. You can't say you couldn't have said the former president's name without getting marked or demarked. What kind of speech is that? You are appreciated. Thank you, Jessica Minshall, Doc Bill. Make it private club to join with fee and password. But then what is that? That's a paywall. That is putting a paywall on information. That is putting a paywall behind so people can't get to you. That it shouldn't be that way. It should be free for everybody, and I should be able to say what I want to say, and you should be able to hear me. Jay Hernandez, radio streamed, radio perhaps. That's a good idea. Beware, selling on Facebook, waiting on 100 they owe me. Will not help political beliefs, so I'm selling jewelry and art. Carafuse, yeah, I know. The stuff they're doing now is just absolutely insane. Hang in there, Mark. We have your back. Marfia, Vladius Maximus, have move the voice part. YouTube deserves elevator music. Burma Christie, I say go big or go home. We bring you numbers. The world is watching. Let's build something for them to. If YouTube is watching, there are people like me that go to huge lengths. Dex and I make sure that everything is backed up that we say, and if it's a rumor, there has to be. And then you guys, it's like, I just want the videos not to be negatively marked if we are abiding by the rules, and if there are rules that we are violating, then it should be super clear. But just as good as anybody else, you can't put the rules there because the rules are not exactly okay for everybody. They probably wouldn't want the public knowing them. So it's like everybody has to stand up to their superior. Like everybody. People that are working for the place, you know? It's just, they don't see it. And they're not going to, because everything on TV is saying it's not happening. These people are all cuckoo. Okay. We were all cuckoo about everything else too. I'm not, nobody's giving up. I had 12 talk to the R Syndicate, Kathleen Sims. Be the light in, you're my hope and my empath. I can't, your soul, love you nothing. Kathleen Sims, thank you. More nature. Reach out to Vox Day and unauthorized TV. He's creating his own payment processor for speech. The processor is really where it has to go. That's where that level that it's going on. It's like, why? People don't care about free speech anymore. When they hear free speech, they think of extremism or something. That's what they're thinking of, and that's what they've implanted. Anything that I guarantee you. Oh my gosh, what do you want to bet? If we Google free speech, we're gonna get that EX word. Watch this. I mean, look at this. Within the first thing, anti this, right? Look at this. Did I call it? Did I freaking call it? I mean, that's crazy. All of these will basically, I mean, they're putting this and these are like the look at this. And this is supposed to be in here without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. Freedom is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or a community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation. That's why reaction videos were, I mean, some of that was part of that, because it's like, you should be able to give your opinion and this and that. It's just, I mean, it's incredible. And people don't see what it's going, and they're cheering it on. I don't see how people cheered on when somebody was removed. Even Jones or the Prez, even if you hate that person, you need to learn and understand why it isn't so important, because you won't realize how important it is until it's gone. And you're watching the same regurgitated thing. And once you find out that they're all the same, and it's meant, once you realize you're being manipulated, it's super painful. It's really hurtful to understand that it really is that big. And that we don't understand things the same way, and I hate to say it, but these elites that have billions of dollars, they are on another level. They're actually above us in more than one way, because they've been opened up. The doors have been opened to see the people that run the planet. And down here, the biggest secret is that we're all convinced that there isn't some small group of people running the planet. It's insane. Let's see here, Dex. I can't get into the screener. Do we? Is there something there, Dex?
Hey, Adam. Yeah, there is one.
Okay, let's bring him on.
Okay, it's Steve.
All right, Steve, you can come on in when you want.
Yeah, hi, Adam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, good, thanks. Hey, dude, I just want to say what a heartfelt conversation. Really hit home, and you're so on point, and you're speaking my thoughts and my heart. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Pretty tough stuff.
It's really hard for us.
And what I'm going to share right now.
Thank you.
Pardon me?
It's really hard for us. I mean,
no,
so
I mean
thank
really
you.
hard. Yeah, really heartfelt. I can feel you and my soul and everything. I mean, pretty tough. I'm 61 years old and grew up in the 60s and 70s. And man, I'm glad I did when I did. And, but anyways, my story almost seems trivial compared to what you've been conversing here, but I just wanted to share it. I've only shared it with maybe 10, 11, 12 people in my life. And I guess I'm going to share it with a whole lot right now.
I would love to hear.
This was in 2004, and I was out in southern Humboldt on the lost coast of Cape Mendocino, and I was building a house. I was surfing there, and I'm a plumber and had a lot of good waves there. And anyway, and it was like April in 2004, and the sun had gone down, and I was across the street, and the sun had gone down, and it was still illuminating a little bit, but the first of the stars were coming out. And I was walking across the street, and something in my head just told me to look up. Well, I looked straight up, and as a kid, I worked in the oil field too as a derrick hand. So, I mean, I know what 100 feet is, and I was a plumber also. And these trees are like maybe 80, 90 feet across the street tall. And probably about 100, 110 feet above my head was a light. And it was
Earlier
a
today,
dull light. It wasn't illuminating down to the ground or anything, but it was just sitting there motionless. And so I saw this light, and this all happened within the next couple split seconds. And in my head, I said, wow, when did we get street lights? And then, of course, I realized I'm out on the lost coast and we don't have street lights. So the next thought in my head was, whoa, we don't have street lights. And then the next split second, this one light split into three, and two of them went to the north, one went to the east, and with no sound, no wind, no nothing. But this one light split into three, and two of them took off to the north, one went off to the east, and maybe click, 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 maybe 3 seconds or so, I watched these three lights travel at the same speed, so to speak, and then they were at the stars, and then they were gone. And that's the end of the story. And my little buddy who was helping me do plumbing at the time, he said I was like speechless almost for like a week. I mean, I was flabbergasted. And so anyways, like, that's the story. And I just wanted to share that.
So there's a lot of stories of Cape Mendocino. I don't know why there's so many sightings there, but it seems like, a lot of people have said that their one experience was in Cape Mendocino. We've also heard a lot of other places like Arizona and others. Yeah, as far as like what I do, I get hundreds of DMs and thousands of messages, and a lot of people that don't want to call in because they don't want to. They don't want to be on. They don't want to be in public, or they don't want to tell the story. But I've heard a lot from Cape Mendocino, a lot from Arizona, a lot from Florida, especially like Tallahassee. I saw Tallahassee in so many of these, and I'm like, why Tallahassee? And I was thinking Florida. Some of these places are also places that might have military bases. But what you saw, that sounds just nuts. I mean, that's scary. I would be speechless too.
Yeah, I was. And just to even share that story right now, it was almost like I was just reliving it. And that was 16, 17 years ago. And it was just, it made the hair stand up on the back of your neck, so to speak. And I just put me in awe. And so anyways, like I said, I guess I just shared that now. It almost made me a little nervous talking about it. But one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life, for sure.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and again, thank you for saying that. And I, if you have any other stuff that you end up seeing, let us know and call us. You're always welcome here, and you're part of the family.
Well, and dude, I really appreciate you and your show. And like I said, this evening, what you've been talking about, you've been speaking also from my heart and soul also. So, and thank you for everything that you do.
Well, like Brian from High Impact says, it's also cutting off your ears too. It's you understand what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
it's say 80,000. He put it in a great way. 80,000 people buy tickets to go to a concert, and there's one person speaking, and the concert hall is sold it out, and comes the day, and 80,000 people are in the stadium, and they're like, well, nope, we just don't want you in our stadium. Not only did the one person can't speak, but the 80,000 people who want to hear it, they can't. They won't hear it, and they're not going to hear it. So that's pretty bad. Amazing story, though. And again, thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you also for everything that you do, and I'm with you.
Well, have a great night, and it was so nice meeting you. It's your first time call. Don't make it your last. All right, that was... thank you so much for calling in. And by the way, I want to point out, so this is exactly what I'm saying. There's big stuff coming, and disclosure of I don't know if it's going to be alien disclosure, but I bet you we're going to find out some stuff that's going to flip us on our asses. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Northrop Grumman and L3 Harris to build sensor satellites for Missile Defense Agency. I think this is part of something bigger. Dex, what do you think as far as Northrop Grumman and L3 Harris?
Oh, I think this goes hand in hand with what we thought was happening with the Starlinks too, right? It's all interconnected, and maybe they're piggybacking off of that network that's being built up there. But yeah, there's something there. There's definitely a huge investment in space, and I personally don't necessarily believe that investment in space is necessarily for right down here on Earth as much as it is for what's on the other side of the equipment they're putting up there. Does that make sense?
You're gonna have to say it one more time. My earphone popped out.
Yeah, no worries. I was just saying, I think that the investments they're making, specifically this one, seems like it might go hand in hand with the Starlink stuff, right? And what we talked about
exactly
with Starlink. But I also think that the investments we're making in space right now are so significant, right? And I don't know that in my opinion, I don't think we're spending all that money in space for something down here on Earth. I think we're spending it for something up there on the other side of the equipment they're putting in. They may put up equipment up there and tell us it's for helping us down here, but in reality, I think it's really pointed the other direction.
Towards space. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's supposed to be objects that are, traveling 20, 30,000 miles. That would be an asteroid. So obviously, there's something that they are not saying. Again, Northrop Grumman and L3 Harris were selected by the Defense Department's Missile Defense Agency to build a prototype sensor satellite capable of tracking hypersonic and ballistic missiles. It says the Missile Defense Agency awarded Northrop Grumman a $155 million contract. What's crazy to me is this is a contract for a defense, which publicly they're saying is for defending against nuclear missiles. $155 million. That's basically a little over, less than one fifth of $1 billion. Now, that's a lot of money, but think about that. That's just $1 billion. Somebody like Elon Musk has $160 billion. Can live the rest of his life off of $1 billion, let alone 500 million, let alone 3. I mean, how many people would just love to have like $1 million and they could probably actually live on it for a couple, 3, 5 years, 10 years. If you did it right, you could live the rest of your life if you invested or interest or whatever. The government, out of that, you have that much money. The government, with just $155 million, can make a defense system for space. Think about what somebody like Elon Musk could do if he gave just, put $1 billion towards. It's surprising to me. What do they spend their money on? $155 million.
We just talked about this on the other show about the cost for the tickets on the Soyuz to go up in the Russian rockets.
What is it, 80 million?
This price tag is actually cheaper than sending 2 people into space on the Russian rocket.
So then why?
And it would be the same price as sending 3 up on Elon's rocket.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we're just now doing defense. If it only costs $150 million in the grand scheme of things, one person was $80 million to send up on Soyuz, which makes me think like they weren't even sending people. Why? How did they not get this kind of thing before? Awarding a contract, it's like, if they can do stuff that they, I just don't understand it. Where does the money go? Payment. Where does the money go? Like, the black projects, that's where it goes, because there's a lot more being worked on. What if they know the world is ending, they're doing everything they can, and then at some point they just go, hey, we tried everything we could. We don't think we're going to be able to stop this. We're going to make it a little bit smaller. Just to let you know, that's why we've been doing this, and we're going to get everybody to a secondary planet. We've already set it up. We brought in this guy named Elon, and that's why he's so rich, is because he's basically saving the planet. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past now, because the world is just so nuts. VIP Youth Group says missiles to fight the return of Jesus and his angels. I don't know why that's like an epic picture in my head, like Jesus and his angels coming down and just Northrop Grumman launching missiles at him, and Jesus just choo, 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 choo. That's pretty cool. That would be a cool comic book cover, at least. West Romans, I don't think missiles could harm Jesus, to be honest. Mr. B, President B, isn't so quick to remove Space Force. Just saying. Okay, nobody has said anything about the formation of Space Force since in the beginning. So none of the Congress people, have you noticed that, Dex? Nobody said jack squat about removing the silly Space Force. Remember in the beginning,
nope.
It was silly.
Nothing. The only thing they can say about it is they can make fun of the logo and make fun of something else they did. They said, "Oh, this is copying the uniform or something." That's about the only thing they've done about it.
They made an entire comedy with what's his face about Space Force, making it sound like it was some dumb thing with, some silly thing where they're doing experiments and shooting people. By the way, they did an okay job with that show, but at the same time, nobody has said it was silly. So all those Congress and everybody on the oversight boards and all the people on the risk and the intelligence boards, they know what's up. And they have not said anything about getting rid of Space Force. They have not said anything about it being silly. Nobody ever, they gave T-Man problems for like the first month or two. But then it was like nobody's talked about it. Nobody's even on all the hate they put his way like every day. They didn't touch that. They didn't go over the Space Force thing, and that says even more. Like there's something going on above our heads that's just wild. They're doing something, or they're not allowed to talk about it. What if that's the option there? Check out PocketNet. It is awesome. Carafuse, I will. Hail Dorothy, Renee Gambala, thank you. Jambala, thank you. Lisa K, the security of the power grid was just suspended by B. Now, why does that make any sense? The security of the power grid was just suspended by B. Can you check on that, Dex? Can you try to figure out what Lisa K means? This is why I said we are keeping track of all of the executive orders. because there's little stuff that you just don't see happening. I think that
okay, I got it. It was the he suspends T-Man's bulk power system executive order for 90 days.
What? What is it?
The here, let me just get you the article.
Yeah.
It'll be easier that way.
Let me pull it up for everybody so they can see it. And you know what? I'm out of air, so Airtable. So give me what do you call it? Let me grab it on up next. Restoring Light.
Okay, it's in there.
Church of Christ Pastor April Shine. Thank you. So says, I emailed you a link article about corporate America in D.C. is being collected. Don't know. Cynthia Pillow, Adam, I know it's hard right now, but remember, even if it seems there is no way, God will make a way for you. I will follow you wherever you go. Love your show and thank you for what you do. Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you for all of your kind words. Wages World, several small voices are louder than one big one. Thanks for stopping by, man. If you guys haven't checked out Wages World, I don't even know how big he is. He's a bigger creator. Says, don't forget Missile Command Base was chosen for Space Force Command. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. And kept hinting towards Dark Winter. That's pretty crazy stuff too. All right, let me show you this article. All right. All right, here you go. It says Biden suspends T-Man's bulk power system executive order for 90 days. President B on January 20th, executive order suspended 90 days. The May 2020 executive order on securing the United States bulk power system. What? How is this not flipping so? What in the world? Mr. B's executive order on protecting public health and the environment, restoring science to tackle the climate crisis, noted that the Secretary of Energy and Director of the Office Management and Budget, OMB, are to jointly consider whether to recommend that a replacement order be issued? You're kidding me. Who's the big threat? The China Task Force has put it straight out there and has intel. They have public intel. They also have classified intel, which I guarantee you is just blazingly clear. The Department of Homeland Security said that we have, without a shadow of a doubt, know that there is a threat of an EMP. And look at what is happening. And who do they suspect? Who do they suspect had a hand in all of this, or might have partnerships with certain people? And why was this a first day executive order? Do you have any idea, Dex? Like, that's weird.
No, other than just trying to undo, in spite of what was there. But yeah,
That's what people are going to think.
It just makes no sense to me why you would do this. Why you wouldn't?
Nobody was complaining. Nobody was complaining.
Yeah, if you didn't like one thing in there, fine. Then write a new one, get it ready, kill one, put the other one in, right? But yeah, this is kind of crazy. Just go in and willy-nilly. I mean, it makes me glad I've got my EMP shields.
Oh my gosh. So supplied by persons owned by, controlled by, or subject to jurisdiction or direction of foreign adversary, augment the ability of foreign adversaries to create and exploit vulnerabilities in bulk power system electric equipment with potentially catastrophic effects. That executive order noted in part that any acquisition, importation, transfer, or installation of any bulk power system electric equipment is prohibited by any person or with respect to any property subject to jurisdiction where that transaction involves any property in which foreign country or a national thereof has any interest, where the transaction has initiated after the date of the executive order. Oh my God, I want to puke every day. In his executive order, president noted that his administration's policy is to, quote, to listen to the science, to improve and protect the environment, insurance. What does that have to do with our power grid? What are you doing? I give up, man. I don't hate this guy, I don't hate that guy, I don't hate nobody. I don't know why I just went into The Godfather, but this is just the action here. What are you doing? This is huge. What are you doing, people? Like, gosh, it's so flippin' I'm pulling out my hair, for gosh sakes.
Maybe they're going to reimagine the power grid.
Yeah, some Peter Pan stuff. Happy thoughts, people. Yeshua's disciple. I'm telling you, he wants us to be 100% dependent on government. George Guidestones, anyone, much love, Adam and Dex. Mr. B kept hinting about that dark winter. Neil Nelson, Adam, you would make a great senator. Oh, congressman. Oh, my gosh. You know what's crazy, Neil? Is for the first time, my wife and myself, both the same day, said, how do we get into local stuff, even if it's just a little council member or something? We want to do it, and it's not for anything like it, just on the side. How much passion do some people have? And I bet you there's a lot of normal people that have thought about the same exact thing. Not me. It doesn't matter. But I thought it would be an advantage if we had locals here that would vote. Like if there was a spot that we could slip in and try to make an actual difference. People joked around like 2 years ago, says Marf 2020. I actually don't even think myself. My wife is so passionate that I thought she could be. She has a spotless, perfect record. She has a degree. She's very, very smart. I thought, man, she is so passionate right now. She said, how do I get into government? And apparently it's not as hard as you might think. You have to be 30 years old to be the governor and a citizen for 5 years. That's it. You don't even have to be a citizen of, or you just have to live there for 5 years and be 30 years old. Check. But and how many of you guys have thought, I'm going to take, I think everybody should apply and go be a congressman or a governor. I don't know how it's so uneven right now. I just don't understand it. Where's the common sense? Anyways.
Hey, Adam, less than 10.
All right, thank you. Guys, this is even more reason, if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend it. Even if you don't go through our link, I would highly recommend going over to EMP Shield. Go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You guys can go directly through them, talk to Andrew or anybody over there. Again, this is the same company that was, I don't know, I'm sure they have their contract. So they are contracted, DHS did an EMP resilience report, so President T-Man signed that order, part of that order, I'm sure there's multiple. And then these guys came in and other guys came in to replace and harden our grid. These devices protect against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3, and it can protect you against solar flare protection, which, again, a Carrington event, type event, is going to happen again. They say it's guaranteed. It's just a matter of time. It's 100% American-made. It's a veteran-owned business. Even if you don't go through us, if you go through us, you get $50 off per device, and you help the show. We get a small commission of every sale. If you don't go through us, there are other creators you can probably get a similar discount through. I would highly recommend it. Go through somebody else and support somebody else if you don't want to support us.
Adam,
yeah,
I want to add something here. I mentioned earlier when you were talking about the power grid, and I said I'm glad I have an EMP. I don't know if a lot of people realize that some people think it's just for protection against an EMP. This is basically a surge for the house. It's a surge protector for your entire home that can withstand an EMP. So take the EMP out of the equation. Talk about these grid down scenarios. Talk about these massive surges and reductions in surge powers that went up and down in, say, Mexico or these other places, or will happen here, especially on any type of infrastructure hit that happens. That does cause fluctuations in your line, and this type of product actually solves that problem. It makes sure those fluctuations don't come through and hit all the equipment in your house. Don't take out the refrigerators that you have, the freezer that you have, your computer, your television, so that it all works later when you want it to, right? And when the lightning bolt hits your house, it protects that. So it's not just an EMP. It's like getting a whole house protection that is also powerful enough to handle an EMP 42 times in a row. It's like a no-brainer to me on the house, and the car is definitely the no-brainer.
Yeah, especially if you were stuck somewhere and you couldn't get home, or you couldn't get, if you were at work or something. It takes that one. I think is the most important as far as travel. You don't know where you're going to be when it happens, and I do believe it is a when, because if it's not an EMP, it's going to be a Carrington type event. It's going to be a huge one. And I don't think we're going to be prepared for it by then. They say it happens.
I laugh at, we used to buy surge protectors to protect your computer or protect your television, right? You've got them laying around. You got these little power strips. I chuckle now when I plug those in. I think, you're so inferior to what my whole house does right now, because that's how cool having that level of protection is.
By the way, you lost, you went through you bought a 12 pack, or how many did you buy for between your garage and your house?
Yeah, I have an outbuilding, and I have Ethernet running underground, and Ethernet is very susceptible to lightning. And so lightning strikes nearby, not even in my house, just like the neighbor's place or in the woods, through the ground, it will hit that Ethernet. And I kept losing expensive equipment on both ends. And even though we grounded it and put in not lightning rods, but ground rods. So I literally ended up buying cheap switches to put in between, just knowing they were going to blow anytime we had a storm like that. So yeah, I go through those throughout the year. But I'm actually looking forward to EMP coming out with a product that actually goes beyond power and does things like Ethernet and your cable lines. So
there's tons of stuff. You guys got to check that out. There's tons of really cool videos on our website. This show is not planned to be like this.
Live show, anything can happen.
And people don't understand why we cut off. And just to explain a little bit more clear, because it's 2 hours in, and we cut off D-Live because right now they're going through some stuff. They're going through what kind of Parler went through, and that's my feeling on it. We're global partners. We represent that. It was a lot of work, and we were really proud to be a global partner. More so, people are given the actual platform crap and all of this. It's like they're one of few that are doing what they did. It's really hard to even do it. People say, oh, it's a Chinese this. First of all, the people that started it aren't even the owners anymore. Now it's moved on. But it's that community. It's just like YouTube. Look at who owns, this platform. Are you using it any less? Because I don't see that. So either way, that the guys over there, I really do appreciate them. But right now, there's something really crazy going on. And people are even getting disappeared on decentralized networks.
And we're cutting in less than 5.
So I just hope you guys realize, like, tonight was not, I don't know if we'll leave this up or not, but if we missed anybody, if, a lot of people, send support, but again, more so, please, instead of supporting financially, support by bringing somebody in. It really means a lot to us. We work so hard at this, and it's like we hit a wall every time we're trying to grow. And if you guys see us through that, I promise you, I will help every small creator I can. I will help people until I'm not on anymore. And you guys know that for 3 years, I've helped smaller creators get big. I've helped anybody and everybody I can. And even through all of the accusations and, troll videos and all, it doesn't matter what comes my way. I hit them with positivity and I don't talk trash back. And this is where we're at right now. So please do me a favor, like the video, comment down below. It'd be really appreciated. And I don't feel like it's too much to ask. You don't have to, but I don't feel like I'm overstepping my reach. I do. Sometimes I will pat myself on the back, and I am proud to say that I helped all those people, and I'm hoping those people will help us back, because we need it. I need it. It's really discouraging to work so hard and to see it go down to a snail's pace, gain, 3,000, and then in one day just lose 4. I mean, it's really hard. Everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. So thank you. To anybody I missed, La Melte, thank you so much for joining. Papa Pedro. Papa Pedro 80, maybe you should have reported the news, Marf, instead of hide it like a coward. I don't know why you'd pay $5 for that. That's funny. Hang in there, Marf. We have your back. In fact, Papa, if you paid attention, we have multiple platforms, and we do actually do it. And that's, again, what we are trying to do. But a lot of those Ironhide people are no longer there. So, and I talked to them. In fact, those people that went all balls out, I talked to them, and they regret it supremely. I talked to about 20 of them. And your opinion of them is probably a bit higher than mine, right? But I still have to get off the computer and go look at my kids. So, just being honest with you, I totally understand where you're coming from. But Papa, I talk to those people, and they call me, and they ask for our help. So, thank you guys. Good night.